next class. In today's class, we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is mutation. Now, what is mutation? See, mutation is nothing but a sudden change in the genotype of an organism. Now, it can be brought about slowly by natural manner. Likewise, it can be also happening by the help of certain substances which are known as mutagens, okay, which can induce mutations. And they can be some harmful radiation or some kind of harmful chemical, etc. Alright, but no matter whichever type or whatever brings about it, whenever sudden change happens in the genotype of an organism, we call it mutation. Now, mutation can be of various types. That's what is today's class all about. We are going to discuss various types of mutation in today's class. And to understand them properly and not have any confusion, I have made it into a chart. All of you first learn the chart properly, only then go into detailed discussion. Okay? So let's start our discussion from the chart itself. So mutation, as you can see, can be broadly categorized into three divisions: gene mutation, chromosomal aberration, and genomatic mutation. Alright. Now, let us start with first gene mutation. Okay, what is gene mutation? To learn what is gene mutation, you must first know what is gene. Okay. See here. Suppose this is a chromosome. You know very well that chromosomes, they carry the hereditary information from one generation to another, and they contain genes, various genes arranged linearly in them, right? So suppose in this chromosome there are 4 genes, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and let me magnify for you gene 1. Okay, see, this is gene 1. Now, gene 1 or any gene is nothing but a fragment of DNA, okay, that contains the information to make a protein. Okay, so we say that a functional unit of DNA is called gene. Okay, not every part of the DNA can make protein, only certain parts can, and those parts are called functional units, and we call them gene. Alright, so genes, if you try to understand the composition of the gene, what is the gene made up of? So basically it's nothing but DNA, isn't it? So you know very well that DNA, in the biomolecule chapter you have learned about it, that DNA or nucleic acids are made up of 4 types of nitrogenous bases, isn't it? So nitrogenous bases are of 2 types: purine, adenine and guanine, and pyrimidine, cytosine and thymine. That's what makes up the DNA. Alright. So say for gene 1, the sequence is like this: A, T, G, C, C, G, T, A. This is the sequence of nucleotide or nitrogenous base present in gene 1. Understood? The sequence is A, T, G, C, CGTA. Alright. So now, if some kind of change occurs in this gene, we will call it gene mutation. Understood? Any kind of change occurring in the gene is called gene mutation. Now, what kind of change? Say, here, one nitrogenous base, that is G, has got missing, has been deleted. It has been lost. Okay, that also can be a change. Sometimes a nucleotide base can get added. That is also a change, isn't it? So any change happening in the gene is called gene mutation. Understood this? Clear? Now let's see what are the types. Gene mutation can be broadly categorized under 2 divisions again: frameshift mutation and substitution mutation. Now what is frameshift mutation? Frameshift mutation means insertion and deletion. Basically what it means is that, suppose what I told you just now, suppose here you see that one of the nitrogenous base has been missing, isn't it? One thing has been missing. That means it has got deleted, isn't it? So that is of course becoming deletion. And in case a G gets added here, so that will be what? Insertion. Understood? So any kind of deletion or insertion happening in the gene would be known as frameshift mutation. Alright, understood this clearly? No issues or no problem about it? Now moving to the next one, substitution mutation. Now see, in substitution what happens is, you know that purine is A and G and pyrimidine will be C and T, isn't it? So in substitution, the bases will not be added or deleted. Rather, they will be substituted from one another. Like, suppose G. G is what? Purine, isn't it? So, in place of G, if comes a A here. So, what is happening? A purine has been substituted with another purine, isn't it? So, if a purine gets substituted with another purine or pyrimidine with pyrimidine, we will call it transition. Alright? But if a purine is substituted by a pyrimidine, say here instead of G comes a C. So a purine has been substituted with a pyrimidine. Likewise, a pyrimidine might get substituted with a purine. That would be known as transversion. Understood? So what is substitution? If one nitrogenous base present in the gene gets substituted with another one, we will call it substitution as a whole. Now if purine is exchanged with a purine or pyrimidine with a pyrimidine, we will call it transition. But if purine is substituted with a pyrimidine or pyrimidine with a purine, we will call it transversion. Is that clear? Understood this? Fine. And also remember, whenever a single nitrogenous base change occurs in a gene, be it in the form of frameshift, be it in the form of substitution, a single nitrogenous base change occurs in the gene, we will call it a point mutation. Simply one single point has undergone a change, isn't it? A single point has undergone a change. A single nitrogenous base has undergone a change. That will be known as point mutation. Understood that? Clear? Fine. So now that's all regarding gene mutation. Let's move to chromosomal aberration. It's easy, right? Understood? Any change in the gene will be gene mutation. Now if a gene undergoes some kind of deletion of nitrogenous base or addition, we will call it frameshift. And if it is an exchange, okay, purine is substituted with a pyrimidine or any such kind of change, that will be under substitution. As simple as that. Clear? Now moving to chromosomal aberration. Now chromosomal aberration would mean change in the chromosome. Suppose this is a chromosome, isn't it? And some change happens in the chromosome. That means, suppose a part of the chromosome gets cut or lost, okay? Or else we can also say, suppose a part of the chromosome has doubled up. A part of the chromosome or the set of genes present in the chromosome have doubled up. That kind of change involves the whole chromosome structure, isn't it? So when chromosome as a structure of the chromosome would undergo some change, we will call it, or we will call such mutation to be chromosomal aberration. Okay. Now see, chromosomal aberration can be of 4 types: deletion, duplication, translocation and inversion. So let's start with deletion. In this chromosome, suppose this is the chromosome. by a single cut, if a terminal section of the chromosome is lost. Suppose, see, deletion means any part of the chromosome gets deleted or is lost. That will be deletion. Now, if that deletion occurs from one end, okay, by a single cut, that will be terminal deletion. And if a part of it gets deleted from in between, but from in between, if a part has to get lost, there has to be a double cut, isn't it? By a single cut, only a terminal end can be lost. From in between, if a part has to be lost, then in that case, it has to be a double cut happening in the chromosome. So by double cut, in case a part of the chromosome is missing from in between, we will call it interstitial. So this is terminal and this is interstitial deletion. Alright. Now, duplication. Duplication is, of course, from the name itself, you know, if a part of the chromosome gets doubled up. A part of the chromosome or the set of genes present in the chromosome, if they get doubled up, we will call it duplication. Alright. Fine. Now, translocation, very, very important. In translocation, what will happen, you see? Suppose this is chromosome 9 of human beings and this is chromosome 22. Okay, a part of, so I'm taking one not as a pair, a part of chromosome 9 say, okay, let me show it like this. A part of chromosome 9 gets added here and a part of chromosome 22 gets added to chromosome 9. Okay, what is happening here? Exchange of genetic material has taken place, which is called crossing over. But crossing over always takes place between homologous chromosomes, isn't it? But here what has happened? Exchange of genetic material has taken place between two non-homologous chromosomes. That's why we call it to be illegitimate or illegal crossing over. Okay? So illegal crossing over where exchange of genetic material will happen between two chromosomes but which are non-homologous. We will call it translocation. Okay? So one such kind of translocation which has been well studied is among chromosome 9 and chromosome 22 itself. In between chromosome 9 and chromosome 22, when a translocation occurs, that is going to result into a rare form of blood cancer or leukemia, that's called CML, chronic myelogenous leukemia. Okay, and this has been well studied. Chromosome 22's translocation has been well studied in Philadelphia, and hence chromosome 22 itself is known as Philadelphia chromosome. Okay, it is known as Philadelphia chromosome. We understood this properly. Alright. So that being said about translocation, next is inversion. Alright. Now what is inversion, you see? Suppose this is a chromosome and this part of the chromosome has the sequence ATGCCGA. Okay, and due to some reason this portion undergoes a 180-degree fold. Okay, inversion. ATGCCGA. And if it settles down without getting unfolded, what will happen to the sequence now? It will become AGCCG CCGTA. Exactly the inverted sequence is now going to be present. If suppose it settles down like this only, without getting unfolded, it settles down like this only, what will happen? It is finally like a thread-like structure, isn't it? If it settles down without getting unfolded, the sequence now will get inverted, isn't it? So this kind of mutation will be known as inversion, okay, where a section of the chromosome will undergo a 180-degree rotation likewise, and the sequence of that portion will get inverted. Alright. Now, inversion can be of two types, paracentric and pericentric. Paracentric and pericentric is simply, the difference is that paracentric means a part or a type of inversion where centromere is not included. That means, see, in my example, I have taken the inverted portion to be away from the centromere. It does not include the centromere. Then it is paracentric. But if the inversion would have taken place in a portion which includes the centromere of the chromosome, we will call it pericentric. Centromere not involved, paracentric. It is involved, so pericentric. Understood? Fine. So that's all regarding chromosomal aberration as well. I hope all of you are clear. So deletion means a part of the chromosome gets deleted. If it is deleted from one end by a single cut, it's terminal. If it is missing or if it gets deleted from in between by double cut, it is interstitial. If a part of the chromosome is doubled up, we call it duplication. If there is illegal crossing over occurring between two non-homologous chromosomes, we will call it translocation. For example, in CML, chronic myelogenous leukemia, would be occurring due to translocation between chromosome 22 and chromosome 9 in human beings. And chromosome 22 is also called Philadelphia chromosome. And inversion means a part of the chromosome will undergo a 180-degree rotation, due to which a sequence of that part of the chromosome will get inverted. Now, if that inverted portion includes the centromere, we call it pericentric. Does not involve it, we call it paracentric. As simple as that. Is that clear? Fine. Now we are left out with the third and the last category, genomatic mutation. Alright. Now for genomatic mutation, see, you know that if a change occurs in the gene, we call it gene mutation. A change occurs in the chromosome, in the structure of a single chromosome, we call it chromosomal aberration. Genomatic mutation means the number of chromosome or the number of set of chromosome in a cell will undergo some change. For example, suppose we human beings have total in our diploid cells, we have 23 pair of chromosomes or 46 total chromosomes, isn't it? Now, if suppose due to some mutation, one chromosome gets missing from the cell. From now, the cell has not 46, rather 45 chromosomes. Okay, or else say one whole chromosome is added to the cell. Now, the cell has not 46 but 47 chromosomes. That kind of change will be under genomatic mutation. Alright. Also, suppose if in a particular cell, which is usually naturally going to be a diploid one, if one whole set of the chromosome is added, now the cell becomes triploid, not diploid anymore. It is not 2n anymore. It becomes 3n. Or else a whole set of chromosome is lost, means from 2n, now the cell becomes n, haploid. So whole set goes missing or whole set is added. That kind of change will also be included in genomatic mutation. Okay, so see, genomatic mutation can be of two types, aneuploidy and euploidy. Aneuploidy means one chromosome is added or deleted, means 45 chromosome or 47 chromosome. That kind of change will be under aneuploidy. And if one whole set of chromosome is added or deleted, the cell becomes haploid or triploid. That kind of change will be under euploidy. Is that clear? Fine. So now let's start with aneuploidy. Now see, for aneuploidy what would happen? Aneuploidy mainly occurs, that means one whole chromosome is added or deleted. That thing occurs due to non-disjunction of chromosome during cell division, basically during anaphase. See, you know very well that in the cell division part, when a cell undergoes mitosis, in metaphase, all the chromosomes will align themselves at the metaphagic plate. You have to recall the cell division a little bit this time so that you understand this portion. If you have no clue about cell division altogether, then revise it a little bit. Otherwise, this section won't be clear. Okay? So when in metaphase, the chromosomes align themselves at the metaphagic plate, isn't it? What happens in the anaphase? In the anaphase, what will happen? The spindle fibers, they would start to, like, basically what would happen in anaphase is that the centromere will split, isn't it? And the two chromatids, now known as the daughter chromosomes, they will start moving towards opposite poles by constriction of the spindle fiber, isn't it? So that's what will happen. Say, there are 3 chromosomes I've shown here, 1, 2 and 3, isn't it? Say, chromosome 1, successfully, it has ruptured in the centromere portion and the chromatids have started moving towards opposite pole. Same, chromosome 2 also have ruptured in the, or it has been splitted in the centromere and it has also been now successfully moving towards opposite pole. But chromosome 3, it could not split in its centromere. If it is not splitting in its centromere, what will happen? The whole chromosome, that means both the chromatids, will move towards the opposite pole, isn't it? So that towards this pole, when a nucleus will be newly formed, this one will have one extra chromosome. One extra chromatid is moving, isn't it? So, towards this pole, the nucleus that will be formed will have one extra chromosome. So, it will be not 2n, rather it will be 2n plus 1. And towards this pole, one chromatid will be missing, will be less. So, towards this pole, the nucleus that will be formed will be 2n minus 1, isn't it? So, basically, that kind of cells will be known as aneuploid cells, where one chromosome is either added or else one is missing, and that all is happening because of non-disjunction. That means not being able to split at the centromere. So, okay, non-disjunction of chromosomes in the anaphase of cell division. Clear? Why aneuploids are created? Fine. So, in that case, what will happen is, instead of a diploid cell that is formed usually by mitosis, the cells which are formed will be 2n plus 1, will have one additional chromosome, or 2n minus 1. Likewise, 2n plus 2, 2n minus 2, this kind of conditions will arise. And that is what is called aneuploidy. Alright. So, see here, aneuploidy can be of various types. Monosomy is 2n minus 1. Trisomy means 2n plus 1. Nullisomy means 2n minus 2. Tetrasomy means 2n plus 2. Okay? And you know very well, all of that will be happening due to non-disjunction of chromosome during anaphase. Alright? Clear? And for the final one, euploidy, I have already told you, the whole set of chromosome will be either added or will be lost. If a whole set of chromosome is lost, the cell now instead of being a normal diploid, it will become haploid. So we will call it haploidy. And if a whole set of chromosome is added, so in that case the cell will become not 2n, rather it will be 3n, 4n, 5n, whatever it is going to be. So whenever a cell has more than 2 sets of chromosome, we will call such cells to be polyploids. Okay, so that will be called as polyploidy. If the cell has 3n, 4n, 5n, whatever condition, that will be falling under polyploidy. Is that clear? Fine. So that's all regarding the discussion about the different types of mutation. I hope all of you are clear about it. Okay. So let me give you a quick revision about it so that it becomes much more clear. So mutation means any sudden change in the genotype of an organism. It can be of 3 types. Gene mutation, where the change occurs in the gene, a fragment of the DNA. Chromosomal aberration, where change occurs in the structure of the chromosome. And genomatic mutation means where change occurs in the set of chromosomes. Okay, number of chromosomes or set of chromosomes. Now, gene mutation can be of 2 types. If a single nucleotide or nitrogenous base is added or deleted, we call it friendship mutation. And if a single nitrogenous base is going to be exchanged with one another, we will call it substitution. Okay. Now, chromosomal aberration, if suppose a part of the chromosome is lost or deleted, we will call it deletion. If a part of the chromosome is added, then we will call it duplication. If exchange of genetic material occurs between 2 non-homologous chromosomes, we will call it translocation. And if a part of the chromosome undergoes an inversion, means a 180-degree rotation, so that the section undergoes an inversion in its sequence, we will call it inversion. Alright. And for genomatic mutation, the whole number of chromosomes will be either added or lost, or else the whole set of chromosome will be added or lost. That kind of change will be genomatic mutation. In case a single chromosome is added or lost, that kind of change will be called aneuploidy, and it happens due to non-disjunction of chromosome during anaphase. That can result into various conditions like monosomy, trisomy, nullisomy and tetrasomy. Likewise, in euploidy, finally, a whole set of chromosome will be lost, that's haploidy, making the cell haploid, or else a whole set will be added, that will give rise to polyploid cells, hence polyploidy. As simple as that. I hope all of you are clear about this section. So that's all regarding mutation. In the next class, we'll start with another very important part, that is pedigree analysis. Thank you.